Good? Okay.
Game face. Game face.
All right, game face, everybody. It's like, you know, Canadian special edition of awesomeness. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Pay-to-play fields have come online. More retailers are, you know, opening up every day, especially just in Colorado. So everyone's gotten away from kind of the grassroots, and not as aggressive anymore. Not running up and down.
They weren't aggressive when we were playing.
Oh, come on.
It's not the AO. It's the American players. He's right.
Not to boast, I have been on the kicking side of the riot shielding before. Those dark times, dark beginnings.
Yeah, I don't.
That's another episode.
Yeah, another episode.
Another episode. The park. No.
Well, we just got back from Rebel Yell 2. Great event, awesome. I mean, sportsmanship there was unbelievable. But it was the same thing, whether it's at Rebel Yell 2 or somewhere up in, you know, New York. It's consistent with that style of play, right? Everyone seems to hunker down, or they'll hold a room or stairwell, and
to me personally, just viewing it, and you know, sometimes it's just how things are, so you know, you get drug into it. But I see it as guys are too proud to get hit, too proud to go down. Yeah. It's like their kill-death ratio is a big deal. They see it as a walk of shame to put on that dead rag.
Yeah, and then you know what, the very first thing they say and we actually just encountered this, breached a room, hit a guy, you can see the BBs right on footage, bouncing right off his plate carrier, and he's not doing anything, he's shooting back, and then he argues, and I guess it's common in Airsoft, it's the nature of the sport, but
adrenaline,
you didn't get me, and it's like, come on, man, and you know, the thing about Airsoft is everybody, they're playing a sport, and I'll call it a sport, but they're playing a sport where,
I'll call it a sport.
Perfect. Everybody's operating as an operator, right? And that they put themselves into that mindset, and they'll, you know, watch the ending sequence of Zero Dark 30, and that's how they envision themselves moving down hallways and through courtyards. And the reality is they're tripping over their boots that aren't laced up, and you know, choking on their camelbacks full of rock star energy. It's you see those types of things, right? So how one perceives themselves when they're playing is actually different than when they're actually playing. And I think that's more common down here than what we see up in Canada, is we run into more instances down here.
That's interesting. I mean, earlier we were talking about just sheer, as Abigail said, violence of action is different. I mean, so many local players hate the comparison, but you know, I think paintballers in the United States are more aggressive than airsofters.
Paintballers are more aggressive than airsofters.
They are. They move up. They shoot. They shoot until the guy screams, you know, cries uncle. I mean, their job is to go from bunker to bunker.
Yeah,
I mean,
I guess.
You know, it is a ranked sport, so obviously you need to end the match as quickly as possible and not sit there and go.
Bloody-handed savages.
Right.
It requires intense brutality.
Now, do you see that with the Milsim paintballers? Are they the same, or they kind of?
I actually came from a Milsim paintball,
right? Or speedball. Sorry.
I came from a Milsim paintball woods ball. You know, when I was playing it, you know, they just come out with some of the kits that mod your Tippmann to look, you know, somewhat like a real rifle.
Right.
Now it's like all changed, but no, very aggressive. I mean, we were pain junkies almost. I mean, it was brutal.
But that's one of the things is, like, with airsoft, that little 6mm pellet, it isn't going to hurt that much.
BB.
BB, whatever. BB. Okay. Yeah, it's like.
Daisy is a pellet.
Okay, but it's like, how afraid can you really be about getting shot with that dinky?
Well, especially if you're wearing, you know, a plate carrier.
Plate carrier and a mask and goggles and a helmet and armored gloves and all this other rubbish that you're wearing. Yeah, and it's like, people still want, despite all of that, they want to hide, not get shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have fun just, you know, sometimes just goofing off with the most glorious death. I remember at Broken Home 2, they were trying to, their command was trying to send out an order for them to retreat. They're like, well, we're surrounded, we can't. And then I think our RTO was like, well, pull out your dead rags and walk out of there. And they're like, that's not in the spirit of the game. And then I just finally got on the radio. I was like, fight to the bloody last man, make them pay, then pull out your dead Rex and come back to respawn. And they're like, okay.
There you go.
This is what you paid your hard-earned shekels for.
Yeah. It's like, oh, we're surrounded. We're all going to die. Okay, you're going to die. You know, make them pay for it.
Right.
No rush.
That's right. All of, you know, it's like, okay, yeah, if you're all going to die, you're all surrounded. First of all, those poor bastards that have us all surrounded. But yeah, it's like every one of you guys here that's gonna die to the last man, you're gonna get a chance to shoot people. There are gonna be guys out there that aren't gonna get a chance to shoot at you because there's only so many of us to get shot and we'll all be dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think with, sorry.
That happens.
I think with
Mascot.
Yeah.
I think with Airsoft especially is sometimes you can get really bogged down into the scenario or what's going on in terms of the theme, and you know, orders will come down and sometimes it sucks sitting there for 2 hours and that's what you've been tasked to do, and we get that. But I think in the same sense, you have to be able to make your own fun. I mean, everybody, they invest in going to events, they invest in kit, and us as a team, if we're feeling like, you know what, we're not contributing to you know, our team moving forward on the battlefield, yeah, we'll make the call to go out and do our own thing and not deviate necessarily from, you know, the goals and the objectives, but maybe instead of staying in this tree line, we'll push up, you know, 150 meters forward and establish a new line, right, to allow the rest of our team to get an advantage. So I think you got to be able to run out and make your own fun out of it.
First of all, you still need to use your brain.
Yeah.
Okay, just because you're at a milsim op or whatever that doesn't mean you stop thinking. I mean, in one of our earlier episodes, we talked about the difference between customers and participants. Customers are going to sit there and they're going to go, somebody get a game host over here to make me have fun. And a participant goes, you know what, I'm going to make my own fun. Either we're going to push forward, we're going to do something else, or I'm just going to make sure, you know, I mean, Mr. Fuerst has seen me do this, watch us, you know, post up on a stairwell for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Nothing happened.
Well,
it was, you know, that was my job. It was tight and it was done.
Yeah, exactly. And at Rebel Yell 2, I mean, most recent sin, we actually drew pistols and we put our primaries down, and I would say for, I don't know, a couple hours at least, just ran with pistols. Because it was more challenging. It was, I mean, and plus it
was hot too.
I mean, I've seen
really hot too.
I think there's backstory. We just wanted to kit down.
We're minimalist. I think
we looked cool doing it.
was it kit versus skill? Like we were talking about the guys who just break down when part of their kit fails.
Yeah, that was. I think that was
so you know, I played with guys. It's like their primary stops working, and they walk off the field. It's like, where the hell are you going?
Big part of our training is that.
Yeah, you know, time, battery changes, barrel changes, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But there's also people we've had on our team too that their gun always goes down a couple hours in the game, like clockwork.
About the time they get winded.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, the funnest players, you know, guys that I've been in the trench with are the guys that, you know, their gun goes down, so they're down to a pistol. You know, you're feeding that.
And you're feeding your mags
that guy. You know, that's why everyone runs the Elite Force 1911, because I mean, it's the most beautiful thing when there's just this big pile. Shameless plug.
In a blade tech holster.
You know, and then when that's out, you know, they're sitting there, you know, everyone's dumping their mags in one big pile, and they're sitting there loading them, you know, dishing them out to everybody. You know, those to me are, you know, team players and sportsmen. And I've seen guys do that, and they come off the field, and I'm like, I'm really sorry you got stuck with that. It sucks about the rifle, and they're like, that was awesome. You know, and you just they made the best of it. Same
Keeps
thing
everyone
with
fired up and motivated, right? And
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, that's a big part of when we do our training sessions. You know, someone will be calling out the drills, and one of the scenarios we go through is primaries down. Okay, well, you have to pull your secondary. And last event, I had my primary go down. Well, my battery died, and I just didn't have any extras. My secondary was jammed. I looked at Jay.
He's like,
dude, I don't have a tertiary. It's like, what do you mean? I'm like, primary's down, secondary's down. And he's just like,
so if you don't have a knife, a baton, or grenades,
so
your next weapon is your speed loader.
Well, yeah. So I was thinking of that, but we had 2 tornadoes, and pulls them out, and he's like, here you go.
And we were just about to go in the door. I'm like, here you go. And he's
just
like,
standing in a room, holding.
We had to be quiet too, so I'm just like. He's just like, all right, here we go.
Just holding,
Tape them to yourself.
I mean, you walk away from that after, and it's a story to tell. It's fun to talk about, and you get out of it, and it's a good time.
If your stuff goes down, keep fighting. We see that for some local players here that uncharacteristically I'm not going to name on the show, but and yeah, it's like something goes down, they stop, they leave. It's like, dude, you can call out targets, you can reload for me, you can be a distraction. Keep fighting.
Tell me something. Why do American players, when they see someone 100 meters away or 200 meters away, yell out, "Contact!"
Exactly.
So we always kind of like chuckle at that, because then everyone's on edge, and the next thing you know, people are shooting at stuff, and I mean, BBs are.
Yeah.